Hello, my name is Loretta Eleni, and I will give an overview on what the issues and areas that we found in the given case 1. So, we identified 3 issues or areas. The first one is ethics. According to the MIA bylaws, ethics is about principles, values, and beliefs which influence judgment and behavior. So there's an issue about absence of audit rotation and also the appointment of MAC and company to perform both external audit and also internal audit. Second is human resource areas or issues. Human resource management includes recruitment and selection of staffs, organizations, and employee development. The issues we found that there is an improper hiring procedure of the employee. The last one is corporate governance. Corporate governance is a system of rules, practices, and processes that are used by corporations to direct and control its action. We found that there is an issue on the appointment of audit committee. These 3 areas will be further elaborated by my team members. So thank you, that's all from me.
I am Nurkalisa Samri and I will be presenting the issues that were able to be identified from this case under ethics area. The first issue is appointment of MAC and Co to perform both internal and external audit of Mentara Berhad. The situations that led to this issue were the audit team that were involved in the internal audit work were also involved in the external audit work of Mentara Berhad. Next, due to the incompetency of the audit team in the internal audit area, external audit knowledge was applied in the internal audit work, which was less relevant. Thus, it led to self-review threat to the objectivity of MAC and Co in assessing the internal audit and control processes of Mentara Berhad. Next, poor quality of work whereby the internal audit report did not meet the Bursa listing requirements and was not related to the client's internal control system. Lastly, Mentara Berhad also incurred unexpectedly high internal audit costs. Next is absence of audit rotation. Because of the long-term association of MAC and Co with Mentara Berhad since Mentara Berhad's inception in 1995 until 2007, they were appointed as the internal auditor for Mentara Berhad, and the audit team that were involved in the internal audit work were already familiar with the company's operations, accounting system, and key risk areas. This led to self-interest threat and familiarity threat to the objectivity and professional behavior of the auditors in conducting the internal audit work.
Hello Dr. Tamay, my name is Nur Shakira bintu Zulkifli. So I will be presenting about the situation and consequences of issue 3 and 4. First, I will be presenting about issue 3, which is the improper hiring procedure of the company. First is a situation where the issue arises when Dato' Johan decided to promote Malik from sales department as the new internal auditor. Based on Malik's impressive performance in the sales department, he was appointed by Dato' Johan to act as the new internal auditor. Despite his lack of academic background in accounting and auditing, and having no working experience in accounting and auditing, Malik took the role as the new internal auditor. His appointment was made without consulting the Human Resource Department, and he reported directly to Dato' Johan. So, what is the consequences of this situation of the issue there are three consequences. First is the self-review trend. As Malik previously in the sales department, he may also have to audit his previous work as the sales manager during his period in the sales department. This contributes to the self-review trend. Second is the familiarity trend. Malik has been in the sales department for quite a long time, so there is no doubt Malik have created a close relationship within the department. So for him to audit the sales department may contribute to familiarity trait and may affect his judgment as internal auditor. Third is the risk of compromising the ethical code as an auditor, which is competency. Malik, who is lack in academic background in accounting and auditing, who also have no working experience, are appointed as the internal auditor. These have jeopardized the ethical code of competency to act as an auditor. Malik are not qualified to act as an internal auditor. Okay, so the next issue, which is appointment of audit committee. The issue arises when the audit committee of the company is comprised of 4 members, which is Jalil and 3 other directors that none of them whom have financial expertise. Datin Jasmine is the chairman of the audit committee. Plus, the committee only meets once in a year, which is right before the AGM of the company. Most matters for discussion and review are approved by email circulation. So, the consequences due to the situation results from the issue are: first, self-interest trend, whereby Datin Jasmine, who's the marketing director that holds share in the company, be appointed as the audit committee chairman. Second, risk of compromising the ethical code as an auditor, which is their objectivity as an audit committee member. Their position in the company's organization may influence their professional judgment to act as a professional audit committee member. So that's all from me. I will pass the presentation to the next presenter.
I am Dika Nuridwana and I will be discussing the recommendations for first and second issues which are already being discussed earlier. As for the first issue, which is the appointment of MAF671 to perform both internal and external audit, it is recommended that Mentar Berhad should outsource the internal audit function to a different audit firm. In this context, Mentar Berhad should use professionals who are not the audit team members to perform the internal audit services. Mentar Berhad should terminate the internal audit function with MAF671 and then outsource the internal audit function to a different audit firm if they opt to outsource the internal audit function. This is because, according to MIA bylaws, a firm is prohibited to provide internal audit services to an audit client that is a public interest entity if the services related to a significant part of the internal controls over the financial reporting. Not only that, in line with the Code of Ethics, the firm must either resign as an auditor or refuse to supply the non-audit services to client. MCCG also emphasizes that the audit committee must ensure the independence and the objectivity of the auditor are not compromised. Next, as for the second issue, which is the absence in audit rotation, it is recommended to rotate the audit partner of the audit team after 5 years on the audit engagement. In this case, after MAF671 has served the time-on limit of 5 cumulative financial years, MAF671 should therefore has to cool off for 2 consecutive financial years. After that, MAF671 can come back to audit in any key audit partner role for a new 5 years time-on period. This is because, in accordance with MIA bylaws, an individual should not be a key audit partner for more than 5 consecutive financial years, and the key audit partner have to cool off for 2 consecutive financial years and then could begin a new 5-year term of audit engagement. MCCG also highlight that the audit committee must ensure that the independence and the objectivity of the auditor are not compromised.
Hi Dr. Tamoy, my name is Nur Divya binti Dula. I will be present about regulation and recommendation of cases 3 and cases 4. According to cases 3, the improper hiring or procedure of the employee, whereby the director, which is Dr. Johan, as appoint Malik as the internal auditor. The regulation that should be looked out is Section 264 of Companies Act 2016. An officer of a company is prohibited from acting or accepting an appointment as the auditor. And according to Section 263 of Company Act 2016, company auditors must be approved by minister charged with responsibility for finance. For the recommendation for the cases 3 of Mentara Berhad, the Mentara Berhad should set criteria for the requirement and promotion of the staff, and they should hire another qualified auditor which complies to Section 263 of Companies Act and Section 264, whereby must be approved by Minister of Finance. And other than that, they can outsource internal audit function. As for the cases 4, which is the appointment of audit committee, whereby all the member of the board of audit committee don't have any qualification for the financial knowledge. For the regulation, according to Bursa Malaysia listing requirement, the audit committee must be composed of not less than 3 members, and at least 1 member of audit committee must fulfill financial expertise requisite. Also, the audit committee should comprise non-executive director with a majority being independent. The chairman must be an independent director, and at least 1 member should a member of MIA or have at least 3 experience working and fulfill requirement in Schedule of Accountancy Act 1967. For the recommendation of the audit committee of the Mentara Berhad, the audit committee should declare any matters in which they have an interest, whereby Datin Jasmine, the chairman, needs to hold less than 5% of equity share of company, and Mentara Berhad should appoint company secretary. Such substitute is appointed by the director to act as the secretary of the audit committee. The company also should send the director of the audit committee for professional development training, and directors should have equipped themselves with accounting knowledge. Then the audit committee members must elect a chairman among them and must be an independent directors. The company should elect at least 1 member of audit committee that qualified under requirement according to the regulation that has been mentioned above. I will pass the next presentation to the next member.
Hi Dr. Tamoy, my name is Nur Fazila binti Rustam. I will present on demonstration awareness of ethical consideration. First, we will look at the Code of Ethics for Board of Directors. Complies with laws, rules and regulations, where every director must comply with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations in exercising and or discharging their duties or powers. In outsourcing Fiasco, we know that Dr. Johan appointed Malik as an internal audit, and on June 2008, majority the board members objects Tan Sri Abdullah in establishing their internal audit function in response to comply with the Bursa listing requirement, as Tan Sri Abdullah aware that Malik is not qualified for the position. So, if the board of directors with their code of ethics comply with their ethics as a director before making any decision, this type of question should be aware by the board of directors, which is whether Malik fulfilled the requirements of appointment as an internal audit. Is there any right procedure to appoint internal audit? What are the laws, rules, and regulations should be followed when appointing internal audit? Can the company of Mentara Berhad outsource internal audit services from MAF671? This type of question should be considered by the board of directors before making any decisions in order to abide with the laws. Second is audit committee. The Bursa listing requirement already states what are the needs and skills that need to be fulfilled in order to be chairman or members of audit committee. So from this case, we can see that the chairman of the audit committee is one of the board members or an executive directors for Mentara Berhad. Furthermore, none of the members of audit committee are financially literate. If only Mentara Berhad exercising their ethical consideration, they should be considering this type of question. First is, what are the requirements from Bursa listing requirement to qualify as the chairman of audit committee? And what are the roles and responsibility of the chairman of the committee? What are the qualities that should be considered in selecting audit committee members? What is the nature of continuous professional development programs that should be undertaken by the audit committee members? So, this type of question should be considered by the board of members of Mentara Berhad for them to know if they are establishing the audit committee according to the requirement of Bursa listing. Lastly, for MAF671, as an auditor, they should act in a professional behavior in order to comply with laws and regulations and should avoid any conduct that discredits the profession. And they also have to be professional competence and due care to maintain professional knowledge and skill at the level required to ensure that their clients receive competent professional service. In this case, MAF671 accept the appointment as to be an internal audit for Mentara Berhad, even though they are already involved in the audit of the financial statement for Mentara Berhad. MAF671 also assign the staff members that has lack of skill and experience in internal auditing to the internal audit service. If MAF671 exercise their ethical code of ethics as an auditor, they should be considered in making their decision by considering this type of question. Can MAF671 accept the appointment as an internal audit for Mentara Berhad? Can MAF671 provide non-audit services to Mentara Berhad? Does the staff member who in charge to do the internal audit service have enough skill and experience? So, MAF671 should think about their ethics as an auditor. They should not accept the appointment, or if they accept, they will not send the staff member who has lack of skill and experience in order to make sure they provide professional competence and due care services to their client.